Hi everyone, welcome back. Today we are trying so much drugstore makeup. It's been so long since we've done a video like this on my channel. I have so many things here. It's kind of overwhelming. I have the e.l.f. concealer, e.l.f. brow pencil, e.l.f. single shadows. I have the new Covergirl bronzer and blush. I have the new Maybelline foundation and some other things too. We've got a lot to play with today, so I am really excited for this. I have tried a few of these products already. Most of it I haven't tried, but a few of the e.l.f. products I have tried because I just couldn't wait, to be honest, when I got them in the mail. And if you're new here, my name is Blair. I do all kinds of beauty content here on my channel. I would love for you to subscribe if you haven't already. And I think that's it. Let's just get into it. I'm gonna apply my SPF quickly before we get started. This is not new or from the drugstore. It's the Kiehl's one, but I haven't done this yet. So I'm gonna apply this, and I'm so excited about all this drugstore makeup. I feel like there for a while we were in a pretty big lull in terms of new drugstore stuff coming out, and then every year around this time it seems like it's just like the floodgates open and all of the brands start launching things, not just drugstore, but high-end makeup too. Beauty in general right now is like exploding. But I'm excited to have some new drugstore stuff because honestly, there hasn't been much from the drugstore exciting that's been released in a while. I feel like we've gotten like one or two products here and there. My favorite find from the drugstore last year would have to be the L'Oreal Blurfection powder. That is phenomenal. But other than that, there hasn't been, I don't know, there hasn't been that much exciting stuff until now. All right, while we're letting that kind of sink in, I did just remember I also got this from e.l.f. This is the Bright and Beautiful eye cream. Does this look familiar to you? This looks like a product that I used to use a long time ago. I haven't used it in a little while, but I loved it. This is what it looks like. It's like a really light, tiny bit yellow eye cream. And I'm just gonna apply a little bit of this under my eyes. This has, let's see, vitamin C and 3% caffeine blend. Not sure what that means, but anything to help my under eyes, I am willing to try it. The texture of it definitely does feel like the Banana Bright cream to me. It might be like a tiny bit thinner. I haven't used the Banana Bright in a while, but I want to say that cream might have been a little bit thicker, but I would say they're definitely very similar. So I'm curious, hopefully our under eye products apply well over this eye cream, but I did want to try it. All right, let's get into the makeup. So for a foundation product, I have two of them. I have the Maybelline Plump and Glow, and I also have the Revlon Lift and Fill Skin Tint. I'm kind of torn here on what to do. I think we're gonna do Maybelline today. I promise I will try the Revlon one too, but I've just been really curious about this one. So let's try this. This is in shade 113. I do like the Maybelline Lumi Matte foundation that came out last year, the one that has the purple lid. I like that a lot, but this is supposed to be more hydrating and more glowy. So let's try it. I did kind of have trouble picking a shade, to be honest. I always kind of struggle with drugstore shades, but this is shade 113. It looks like it should be okay. I know this one has been available for a little while now, but I knew I was gonna do a video like this, so I just kind of been collecting this drugstore stuff until I got everything together, and then I figured we'll do a lot of it in one video. So I'm just starting out with a little bit because I don't really know much about this formula. It says it's medium coverage, glowy finish, hyaluronic acid and peptides, 24-hour hydration, skin looks more plump and brighter. I think the shade actually is good, which is good because I was very uncertain. I almost went with shade 112. I think I have 112 in the Lumi Matte, but I went with 113, so hopefully this works. And it's pilling off my face, guys. Yep, it's pilling. Only in like certain areas though. I guess it's my sunscreen that's doing it. I use that sunscreen with so many different things though, and I don't have trouble with pilling. You wouldn't notice it from like a distance, but it's definitely pilling. Okay, so we're gonna have to take this off and start over. I'm assuming it's this. That just seems so strange because I use this with so many things and I don't have any issues. Okay, let me take this off and we will start over. All right, let's try this again. I just removed all of that and I applied a different SPF. This is the Beauty of Josie and Day Dew SPF. I like this one too. I'm confused because that Kiehl's one I typically don't have any issues with, but my other skincare that I applied this morning are the same things that I apply all the time, and I also did it like at least 2 hours ago. So it really shouldn't interfere with my makeup at this point. So yeah, I'm assuming it was the SPF. So let's try this again. I'm using my same BK Beauty 115 brush to blend this in. I think this shade is okay. It looks a little bit like peachy maybe. I think this was supposed to be the neutral undertone, I think. So there it is on my forehead and then on this side of my face. I think the color is okay. I definitely think it runs a little peachy though. So there it is. Obviously you can see very glowy. Feels extremely hydrating for sure. I'm gonna get what's left on my hand and do this side of my face. And then I'll look up close and hopefully we don't have pilling. Okay, I think we're good. I don't see any pilling from a distance, so hopefully we are okay. Yeah, I think we're good. Nothing annoys me more in terms of makeup though than pilling. I hate it. I don't know that I would say this is medium coverage. I would say this is like a light medium. Maybe if you added, I don't know. I don't get the feeling that this is a super buildable formula. See if it says that it's buildable on here. It does not use the word buildable. I wouldn't say this is medium. I would say more than light, not quite a medium coverage, in my opinion. Color is definitely doable. I do think it's like a slight bit peachy. Let me look up the undertone of this shade. Yeah, so 113 says it's light with neutral undertones. I mean, I don't think it's warm, which is a good thing, but I don't know that I would say it's like straight neutral. It looks kind of peachy to me, but I think it's definitely workable. And it's very pretty. If you have oily skin, I can already tell you this is probably not going to be for you. I would go for the Lumi matte formula with the purple lid. This one is very glowy. I would say this is going to be best for dry skin, I can already tell you, and normal skin. My skin is pretty normal, but I think definitely if you have oily skin, this is going to be a bit much. It does look nice on my skin though. All right, let's move into probably what I'm most excited about in the whole video. And that is the new e.l.f. concealer and corrector. So these are from the Soft Glam line. So they have the Soft Glam foundation, which I have tried in the past. I don't remember a ton about it. I do remember liking it. It wasn't ever like a holy grail favorite for me, but I don't remember disliking it when I tried it before. So let me open these up. I do not love the e.l.f. Camo Concealer. That's a bit much for me. Even the creamy version, I'm not a huge fan of. So I was really excited to see these, and spoiler, I have already tried these. But let's talk about the corrector first. So this is the corrector. This comes in 3 shades. It comes in white, it comes in soft pink or light pink, which is what I have, and then it comes in apricot, I believe is what they call the deeper shade. Why they released a white shade, I don't know. I'm hoping maybe they did that for like a mixer. So if your concealer was a little bit dark, you could add like a tiny little dot of the white corrector and fix the depth of the color. I hope people are not buying that and putting a white corrector under their eyes. Please don't do that. Please don't do that. If you buy this product and you buy the white, please do not apply it to your under eyes. as a corrector or a concealer. Please don't. But anyways, let's swatch this corrector in light pink. So the first thing that stood out to me about this is, number one, it's very thin, but it's also very creamy. Like, it has a very creamy, like buttery texture to it. And it has a good bit of pigment, which I'm excited about. And it's actually a true pink. So hopefully you can see there. This is different than like this product, the Kosas corrector in Magic. This is what we usually see with pink correctors, which is this really bright, almost like white looking corrector, which does not correct. Okay, so see the difference here? So that is the Kosas right there. See how that basically looks white with just like a hint of a pink purple undertone, but it basically looks white. That looks like a true pink. So a true pink would actually correct a fair, light medium, maybe medium skin tone if you have blue or purple under the eyes, which I do. And y'all know me, I am the corrector queen, okay? I've tried so many. And this, the other day when I used it, I really liked it. So let's apply and I will show you. The formula I love. It's very, very thin, very hydrating. I like it a lot. Now, e.l.f. has released 2 other color correctors in the past. I was not a fan of either one of them. They released the Camo corrector that was in kind of a skinny little tube. I did a video on those a few years ago. And then they also released those pot correctors. They were brighteners, I think, but they were kind of marketed as a color corrector. I did a video on those as well. Wasn't a huge fan of those either. I didn't love the shade selection. And just the product overall didn't really impress me. So I let this kind of sit on my under eye for a second. And can you see, it is a true like pinky, kind of like a light pink salmony, I know that's not a word, undertone. That's just kind of what it reminds me of. The shade, do you see that? The shade is similar to Huda Cherry Blossom, which I also did a video on years ago. I don't have that one anymore. I just decluttered my makeup and that one got decluttered because of the packaging. Anyway, this shade reminds me of Cherry Blossom from Huda, which I really like. There you go. So this eye has the corrector. This eye does not. Do you see how hydrating it looks? Now, I will say I would not call this full coverage in terms of a color corrector. I would say this is more like a medium level of coverage. So this is not quite as pigmented as that Kosas one. You can probably tell just in the swatch here. See that? And then see that? You have some pigment here, but you definitely have more base pigment there. So I would not say this is like a full coverage corrector, but I am loving this tone. The only thing is, e.l.f., can we get some more colors? Because 3 really is not enough. Really, it's 2 because I don't count the white one. I don't really know why they released the white, unless it's intended to be a mixer, which I'm hoping that's what they intended. I don't know, but we need some more shades because this is a really nice formula and a lot of people out there need color correctors, but 2 shades really is not enough. But I will give it to them. This formula is really, really nice. So there it is under both eyes. So this color on me and my skin tone, it's so close to like the actual depth of my skin that I could wear this on its own and not put concealer over the top. I typically do when I wear a color corrector, but I could get away with this with no concealer on top. I really like it. I would say it's somewhat similar to the Cali Ray Hideaway corrector. That one actually might even be a little bit thinner than this one. I would say that one is more of light coverage. This is a bit more than light into light medium, and then the Kosas I would say would be like a full coverage. I'm impressed with this. I just wish there were more shades. But let's move into the concealer. So this is the Satin Concealer. I picked up 2 shades because I could not pick, and I'm glad I did because one of them is definitely a little bit more yellow than I typically like. So I got shade 20 Light Cool and shade 21 Light Neutral. Y'all tell me what you think, but I just don't think that is neutral. That looks warm to me. Those are the two shades. So we've got light 21 and light 20. So I definitely prefer the light 20 shade. We might use a little bit of both, but this is the same formula as the corrector. It's very thin, like very, very thin and creamy. So it does have a doe foot. It's kind of a tinier doe foot. It's angled. And the other thing I was going to mention about these is they're only $5, which is really, really good nowadays for the drugstore, because as we all know, the drugstore is getting more and more expensive. However, you do only get 0.21 fluid ounces of this. Actually, you know what? I just looked up the Kosas corrector just out of curiosity, and you only get 0.17 ounces in here. So you actually get more in the e.l.f, which seems kind of crazy, and the e.l.f is $5. So that is really nice. Okay, I'm gonna let that kind of sit there for a minute. And then I guess we'll use a little bit of 21 since I have it. And I'm gonna put this on my face to get some more coverage because like I said, I think that Maybelline foundation is more on like the light medium side in terms of coverage level. And I would say with the concealer from e.l.f, I would say you do get about a medium coverage from that. Definitely not full, and I would say it's probably on the lighter end of medium coverage, if you're wondering. But I do think that 21 shade definitely runs warm, in my opinion. And then I'm gonna go back to my smaller brush under the eyes. Do you see those two paired together? Very, very nice. This concealer from e.l.f. is also a formula that you can kind of let sit on your skin for a few minutes and then blend, and you should still be able to blend it, which is nice. So if you want the maximum amount of coverage that you can get, definitely let it sit for a little bit before you blend it. All right, let's move into bronzer. So I did get the CoverGirl bronzer, like I said earlier, but I also got this. This is from L'Oreal. This is the Lumi Bronze Stick, and this is the shade 100 Sun-Kissed Rosé. So this is, I believe, the lightest color that this comes in, because something I do think about the drugstore is I think the cream bronzer selection is kind of lacking at the drugstore personally. I don't have a lot of formulas that I've been super impressed by. So let's try this and see what we think. Oh, that looks so like orangey, I guess, like a peachy, orangey tone. Oh, I'm not sure I'm gonna like that. That is very interesting, and it's called Sun-Kissed Rosé, which kind of makes me think it's like a pinky tone, but that definitely does not look pinky. Also very, very glowy. It also has a little bit of a smell. It's like a little bit of a light floral smell. Okay, now I'm scared. I'm not sure I'm gonna like this. All right, we're gonna try it, but I'm scared. So I'm gonna get it on the back of my hand. I think this one comes in 4 colors, but I'm gonna kind of build it up on my brush here and then go in because I don't want to go in too much. Formula is nice. It definitely is very creamy. Don't think that I like the color though. Let's apply some up here. The formula is very nice. Like, do you see how easily that just blended in? Okay, I definitely like it more on my skin than I liked it in the swatch, which is very interesting. I still think it's super warm. I feel like they could have made it like a little bit more neutral or like pink toned, especially since this is the lightest shade. I'm gonna take some on my jawline now and then bring it down my neck. Yeah, this is really odd. I don't hate it when I look at it on my skin, but the color does not look like something I would go for at all. but I don't hate it on my skin. It does have a really pretty strong floral smell though, which I wish they would stop with that, but everybody seems to do it. Okay, I'm gonna take my foundation brush now and kind of just tap around, make sure everything is nice and blended. Yeah, the formula is nice, very creamy, super easy to blend in, but I don't know about this color, y'all. Especially if you're more fair than me, I think that might pull really, really peachy orange, which sucks. All right, I do have a new Maybelline Cloudtopia Cheek and Lip Mousse. So this is what it looks like. They're in little jars. Oh, okay, yeah. So it is like a moussey, whipped texture. Oh. Wow, okay. So it's like a blurred, like that is extremely blurring. Interesting. Okay, what shade is this? This is number 8, Enchanted Mauve. Let's try this out. I do feel like this is gonna be pretty pigmented. This is a 1/16 brush from BK Beauty. So I think I'm gonna get some and then go on the back of my hand with it first. And then start tapping it on right here. I am kind of glad this one is more of like a matte finish since we do have a lot of like glow on my face right now. Okay, these remind me of something and I'm having trouble thinking of what it is. Okay, do y'all remember years ago Shiseido had those blushes? They were in a glass jar like this and I cannot remember what they were called, but they were like a whipped moussey formula and then they discontinued them. You can't get those anymore. That is what this is reminding me of, but those have been gone for a long time. Go over to this side. I love this color. Definitely right up my alley in terms of tones. Easy to blend for sure. Okay, I like that. I like that a lot. And again, this is shade Enchanted Mauve. Very nice. A lot of pigment, so I would say be kind of careful with these. But if you have oily skin and you like a cream blush, but you feel like everything is too glowy on your skin, you would probably really like these. Let's do a little bit of powder and then we'll move into those CoverGirl powders. Of course, we're going to use L'Oreal Blurfection. I almost got the new NYX powder. I don't know what it's called, but I'm sure y'all know what I'm talking about. It's in like hot pink packaging. Wonder Snatch, maybe? That sounds right. I almost got that to try too. I might, honestly, I didn't end up doing it because I love this L'Oreal one so much. And I was thinking, you know what? There's no way that's going to compare to this L'Oreal one. So I think that's why I ended up talking myself out of that one. So let me know if you've tried that. But I am not joking when I tell you this powder from L'Oreal is phenomenal. Like if you listen to anything I say in this video, it needs to be that you gotta try this L'Oreal powder. I just realized I also had another concealer. It's the Maybelline Lifter. Okay, we'll use this in another video. I have tried this once already and I'm unsure on this one. I'm not sure how I feel about it, but I promise we'll try that in another video. Let's move into these CoverGirl powders. So I have the True Blend Skin Enhancers. I have a blush and a bronzer. The only thing is I don't know how much you're going to be able to see because I have cream bronzer and cream blush on my face, but let's swatch these. So this is the bronzer and this is the shade 300 Honey Bun, which looks like a really nice tone. It doesn't look like it's gonna pull super orange. It obviously gives like the hourglass vibe just looking at it. It definitely kind of looks like hourglass on my hand here. Let's watch the blush. The blush that I have is 410 Rose Latte. Blush is on the lighter side for sure. So that's the blush and I went in a few times with that swatch there. I like the tone of it. It's a really beautiful like mauve-y rose. So we could probably get away with this on top of the cream blush since it doesn't seem to be like crazy pigmented. So that's the blush there. And that's the bronzer. Definitely pretty light though, I would say, which is not necessarily a bad thing. Let's go in with the bronzer first. I'm gonna take it with this 104 from BK Beauty. I typically use the 107 or I use my Refer number 5 brush. But since we've got other products on my skin already, those are a little bit smaller. They're just a little bit more dense than something like this that's a lot larger. Okay, so I'm just adding a little bit of the bronzer. I always run into this when I do these try-on videos because usually I have a cream and a powder in both categories, and then it's like I want to try them both, but then it's hard to like see the differences. Even me in person, it's hard to see, so I know it's kind of hard to tell on camera. So we'll use these on their own, probably in that second drugstore video with other products. That looks nice. I don't see anything that I don't like there. Honestly, I don't see a ton in general. It looks like it has a good bit of sheen to it on my hand right here, but I'm not seeing like a ton of sheen on my face really. And what's interesting is the blush swatch right here actually looks pretty flat. Doesn't look like it has much. I guess there you can see like a little bit of sheen, but definitely not a ton. It looks nice. It's just kind of hard to tell because we got the L'Oreal bronzer on there also. I'm gonna bring some down my neck too. I don't really smell any smell with this CoverGirl powder. Let's take a little bit of this blush too, even though we don't really need any more blush. All right, I'm gonna use this e.l.f. blush brush. I love this brush. It's super wispy, has really long bristles. It's slightly angled. All right, let's do a little bit of that blush over the top there. I know I have a lot of blush on, but it's for the video, okay? I mean, it layered beautifully over that Maybelline. I don't see anything weird at all. I don't think the blush has much luminosity though. I was thinking typically like Hourglass blushes, they do have that really beautiful natural sheen to them. This one looks like it would, but on the skin, it really doesn't. Like, I guess there's maybe a little bit of sheen, but not a ton, which might be a good thing for you depending on your preferences. Okay, we've got a lot on our face though, so I'm gonna go over this with my foundation brush, although not sure how much that's gonna help. All right, before we move into eyes, I did get a new e.l.f. brow pencil. This is the Microfine brow pencil in the shade Neutral Brown. So I feel like e.l.f. has had a few different brow pencils over the years. I know they had the one that was in the white packaging. It had like a thicker point to it. I used to use that a long time ago. I can't even remember what the name of it was. It was like $2 or $3. But this is a really, really fine pencil. Reminds me of like the Kosas Brow Pop Nano. Pretty creamy. Yeah, so I'm using like very, very light pressure. Yeah, so you definitely do not have to press very hard with this one. Ooh, the color is good. Very easy to use. I actually love a brow pencil that's this tiny like this. I just find they're a little bit easier. So this is definitely a little bit creamier to me than the NYX Micro Brow. That one has a little bit more waxiness to it, which that can sometimes be a good thing if you have a tendency to overdo it with your brows. The waxiness makes it so it's a little bit harder to over apply. Pencil like this that's pretty creamy, it can be kind of easy to over apply. The packaging says it's waterproof, smudge resistant, gives fine hair-like strokes, and it's a smooth glide pencil. I would agree. Let's get some brow gel. I didn't pick up a new one. I don't have a drugstore one, so we're just gonna use what I have out, which is the Rare Beauty one. Kind of surprised e.l.f. didn't release a new brow gel with that pencil. I don't think they did. I didn't see it when I was on the website if there was a new one. All right, let's move into eyes now. Another product I've been so excited to share are the new e.l.f. cream eyeshadows. So I have 3 of them here. These are the liquid velvet eyeshadows. Now, when I bought these, I was curious to know how they would compare to the Makeup by Mario Master Matte cream eyeshadows, because y'all know I love those. I've been using those pretty much constantly since they were released, and I have only used these one time, I will say, but the time that I used them, I was very, very, very impressed. So I am excited to use these again today. So I have 3 of them, but this is what the component looks like. Nothing special, just kind of classic, clear packaging with the black lid. Let me swatch them for you. So this one is Beige and Bougie. And this is the one I wanted to know how it compared to Sandstone from Makeup by Mario. So we're gonna swatch that next to this in a minute. Then I got the shade Extra Toasted and Cable Knit. But these are that very moussey, creamy kind of texture. Okay, so we have Beige and Bougie, Extra Toasted, and Cable Knit right there. So Beige and Bougie is like a beige color, just like slightly deeper than my skin tone. Then you have Extra Toasted, which is a warmer brown, and then Cable Knit is like a taupey, cool toned brown. Let's get my other ones out though and swatch them. This is the e.l.f. color. This is Makeup by Mario in Sandstone. So there's the e.l.f. in Beige and Bougie. There is Sandstone. Definitely very, very similar. Not identical. I would say the e.l.f. one is a little bit more pinky. Sandstone has a little bit more warmth to it. It's not a super warm shade, but I would say it has a little bit more warmth than the e.l.f. one. And then this shade is 18M from Armani in the eye tints. That one is lighter than these two. Still like a similar type of shade, but not quite as similar as those two. In terms of the formulas, I would say the e.l.f. is kind of a mix in terms of the texture and the formula of the Armani and the Makeup by Mario. They are creamier than the Makeup by Mario, which is similar to the Armani, but they dry down more matte, like a powdered velvety finish, like the Mario. Not as much like the Armani. These dry down more matte, but they still have like a little bit of sheen to them, I guess is what I would say. They're not as powdered looking as the Makeup by Mario. The Makeup by Marios are very moussey, and then they dry down and they set like a powder, like a velvety blurring powder. The e.l.f. ones, I would say, set like that, but not quite as powdery as the Makeup by Mario, but not as creamy as the Armani. I know that's kind of confusing, but that's like the best comparison that I can give. But what I will say is I loved the e.l.f. ones when I wore them the other day. I'm also gonna swatch this one shade I also have, yeah, which is pretty different from Makeup by Mario. I have Taupe from Mario, which is right here, which Extra Toasted is lighter, not as deep as this. And Extra Toasted actually pulls a little bit cooler than the Mario does in Taupe. I guess that one is most similar to Cable Knit from e.l.f., but Cable Knit is definitely cooler, more of a taupey gray. This has a little bit more warmth to it. I was mainly curious about the Beige and Bougie color in relation to the other two, and it's definitely similar to Sandstone. Sorry, I know I spent a bit of time there, but I really wanted to show you in case you were wondering. So let's go in. I'm gonna do what I did the other day. So I took Beige and Bougie, and I'm gonna blend with my 206 from BK Beauty. And you'll see this is the same type of shade that Sandstone is on me, which is, it just adds a little bit of color, not a ton, it's not a lot deeper than my skin tone. It adds just a little bit of something, and it kind of evens out my eyelids because I do have some veining, and my eyelids are just kind of naturally discolored. But yeah, these are just a little bit creamier than the Makeup by Mario, but I wouldn't say they're quite as creamy as the Armani. But I would say they're kind of a mix of the two. So you can see, blended in beautifully, super easy, perfect one and done for my skin tone. Like, I use this type of shade all the time. This is what I do all the time with my sandstone from Mario, and you can see, beautiful. All right, next I'm gonna take Extra Toasted, which is the kind of warm, it's not super warm actually, but I think they call it like a warm light brown. But I just kind of applied that, you can see, on the very outer corner. And I use the same 206 from BK Beauty. This is exactly what I did the other day, and I loved it. And I just kind of blend up into that first shade that we used, and then also kind of pull it out a little like this. I can't wait to wear these all day today and let you know about the wear, but when I wore them the other day, they were very impressive. At the end of the day, they had not faded away. I want to say I've maybe had like, I feel like I might have had like a tiny bit of creasing. Very minimal, but honestly, most cream shadows on me by the end of the day have a little bit of crease, unless you like heavily set it with powder. So that's not unusual. Okay, and then finally, I took the darkest shade that I got in Cable Knit, and I used this kind of like liner. So I put a little bit of this on the lash line. They're pretty pigmented, so I did try to keep it pretty contained because I want it to look like really soft and diffused. But then I just took my same brush. So I did this whole eye look with this one 206 brush, and I just kind of did it as like a smoky liner like that. I'm gonna switch actually to a 210. This is just a smaller little pencil brush, and just kind of feather that liner out and in so it looks really soft and diffused. How perfect is this eye? And we used those 3 colors. Obviously you don't have to do all 3. You could just do 2. You could just do 1. You could do all 3. But these are impressive, guys. All right, before we move on to mascara, I am going to take a little bit of that CoverGirl bronzer, and I'm going to bring it right here in this inner part of my eye. I've been trying to do this more when I do my makeup because I do think it makes a big difference if you don't leave this area just bare. All right, let's curl the lashes, and then I have multiple mascaras. I think I have 3 of them. I'm trying to figure out which one we're gonna use. All right, I have several, like I said. So I have the Milani Fan Club Highly Rated. This one is in brown. I have the Panorama Chromatic from L'Oreal in brown. And then I have the Maybelline Body Mascara in brownish black. I think I'm gonna try this one, although I'm pretty sure this mascara was the one that didn't come in like a true brown, which kind of surprises me because most Maybelline mascaras do come in brown. But anyways, this is what the tube looks like. And it's just like a straight, pretty standard looking wand. It's already curled this eye, so let's go in on this side first. Okay, so definitely very lengthening. Actually, more than length, I would say like separation with this one. Okay, so there's like one light coat. Definitely, I would say more on the soft side. Not really adding any volume or anything. Let me see. What does this say? First, full body volume and all day lifted curve. The body curve brush stretches lashes from root to tip for a sensational lifted lash curve and sleek separation. The formula is a silky clay wrap around each lash to smoothly build full body volume with a curl that holds all day. I don't know about all that, but let's see what happens if you add another coat of it. Okay, so you can layer it. I don't know that it does a whole lot. It's not like super clumpy or anything. Okay, so yeah, I mean, it's nice. I don't see anything that's like, wow. It's okay at this point. It's kind of similar to the L'Oreal Extensionist that I've been trying. That one is interesting because I like that one, but it is so hard to remove. I don't know. I don't think that one is supposed to be tubing, but I swear it is so hard to get off. To the point where I kind of don't want to wear it, even though I do like how it looks on my lashes, but it is hard to get off. Even with a cleansing balm and a cleansing oil, I've still been having trouble getting it off. So I like that one in terms of the look, but not being able to get a mascara off is very annoying, you know? So this one did say it gives volume. I don't know that I'm seeing any volume really. I do think I'm seeing some length and some separation, but I don't know about volume. Definitely not clumping, which I like. Yeah, it looks nice. I'm not like blown away by it. It says it will hold a curl. They already don't look as curled as they did when I curled them with a lash curler, but honestly that's kind of been a thing for me lately with mascaras. My lashes, ever since I had a baby, don't want to stay curled. I'm not sure why, but I have noticed that. Finally, for lips, I have a few things here. So I have a few things from Revlon. One of them I've tried, and it's this. So this is the Photo Ready Instant Blur Liner. So I didn't even know these were a thing. I just saw them online randomly. I've tried this already, and this is kind of a miss for me already. I'll show you. So this is the swatch here. So these are supposed to be, I assume, like the Rhode lip shapes or those Refi blur liners. You know what I'm talking about? This is supposed to be like that, I think. But I feel like they're too much that way. Like they just kind of rub away. I'll apply it now and show you, but I mean, they're definitely similar to like the Rhode product, but you know, they're very, very, very little pigment. And they do have like a blurred effect to them. They kind of define your lips, I guess, but they don't look like a traditional lip liner. Like, I like the color of it. This is the shade 04 Lazy, but I mean, yeah, there's just little to no pigment, but I mean, the Rhode ones are like that too. It depends on if you like this kind of product. If you didn't want to spend the money on the Rhode one, but you wanted something like that's like barely there, maybe. But I wish they had just like a little bit more to them, because I've worn that one a few times and I was just kind of like underwhelmed. I'm gonna take a little bit of this also. This is from NYX. This is not really a new product, but I just found it in my drawer. It's the Duck Plump Plumping Lip Liner in Nude Flip. I'm just gonna kind of go over that Revlon. I don't really love that either. I'm not seeing much from it. That's okay, but I'm not blown away by that either. I don't feel any plumping or tingling either. I don't know about that, but this is also new from Revlon. This I have not tried. This is the Instant Plump Serum in number 7, Fill Fantasy. So I'm assuming this is gonna be like a lip oil type product. Yeah, that's nice. So that has a little bit of like a minty, tingly feel. Yeah, that's nice. Definitely burns a little. The color is pretty though. It's pretty thin feeling on the lips. It's not thick. There's definitely a little bit of burn though. All right, that is everything that we're gonna try today. Let's go through my thoughts on these products so far. Starting with the e.l.f. eye cream. This seems really nice if you're looking for an eye cream to use before makeup. This is my first time trying this one, obviously, but it does feel very similar to the Banana Bright from Ole Henriksen. It's a really nice texture, and I didn't have any pilling under my eyes with the concealer on top, so that is pretty good. I don't know about the caffeine claim and the brightening with the vitamin C, but it's very similar to Banana Bright from Ole Henriksen. The Maybelline foundation. I'm not gonna lie, I was a little bit off-put from it just because of the pilling issue. I'm assuming, like I said earlier, that was from the Kiehl's SPF. It's just really odd because I use that SPF with everything and I don't really have that issue. I'll have to keep playing around with that, but it's a pretty foundation. If you're looking for something very dewy and hydrating from the drugstore, it did look nice on my skin once I reapplied it. Like I said earlier, it does say it's medium coverage. I don't know, I still think it's like light medium or like a very light medium coverage. I wouldn't say you get a full medium from this, but it's nice. I don't have any like major complaints by it. Am I like blown away by it? No, but it's a nice foundation. Definitely think best for normal dry skin though. I think oily, this would be way too much. If you're oily and you want an option at the drugstore, I would do the Lumi matte. I really like that one. But I'll have to keep playing with this and let you know. I am wondering, do y'all think it oxidized? I feel like it possibly oxidized. I do feel like my face is a little bit deeper than it was at the beginning of the video, but I'm not sure if it's from this or if it's from this L'Oreal bronzer stick because this looks super orangey. And on my skin, initially I was like, it doesn't look that orangey, but now I'm looking at my face and thinking, did this make my face look a little orangey? I don't know. It's gotta be one of these two things. I'm not really sure, but I'll have to keep testing this and let you know. Standout for sure are the e.l.f. concealers and the corrector. I think they did a great job with these. $5, really thin, hydrating, creamy formula, decent medium coverage, and I like it. I like it a lot, especially the corrector. If you're around my skin tone, a little bit lighter, a little bit darker, and you need a corrector for blue or purple under the eyes, and you don't have like severe darkness, this is a great drugstore option. I really like this. I'm gonna keep testing it obviously, but these really impressed me. The concealer as well, I do think based on this 21 color, I think they run kind of warm, which is kind of typical for a lot of makeup brands. But if you're a neutral, cool, leaning undertone, I would probably get a cool undertone in this concealer, but these are good. And I'm gonna wear this today. I'll update the description box with any notes, but when I wore that the other day, they look good at the end of the day. The L'Oreal bronzer. Okay, this is a nice formula. It's so creamy. It blended in so nicely, but what is this shade? Sun-Kissed Rosé. If they're gonna make this the lightest shade, like this needs to be a little bit more pink. And it's too warm. It is a nice formula though. What are these shades? Sometimes I really want to know who is okaying the shade range on some of these products. Like I just wanna know. But the formula is nice. If you see a shade that you think would work for your skin tone, I do think the formula is nice. Definite standout, Maybelline Cloudtopia. If you like a more matte, blurred finish with a cream blush, this is beautiful. Beautiful. Very pigmented though, so beware when you apply it. Maybe go on the back of your hand first and then apply. But yeah, this is very good. Really excited about that. The CoverGirl powders, I feel like I can't rate these 100% just because I layered them on top of other blush and bronzers. But I'm not saying they're bad by any means. I don't think, just based on seeing the swatches, I don't know that they are identical to Hourglass. They are definitely a similar type of product, but are they going to give you the exact same effect? I don't know. Like I said, I have to keep playing around with them and I want to apply them on their own without product underneath. But these are, I'm excited about these. We will keep testing and we'll use them again on their own. If you can hear things in the background. Woods is up from his nap and he's making a lot of noise, so I gotta wrap this up, but sorry if you can hear that. The e.l.f. Microfine Brow Pencil. This is great. I really like this. Easy to use, love the fine point, really good neutral brown color. No complaints on this. I think that's a great option. There's so many great drugstore brow options. That's definitely one of them. The e.l.f. shadows. Okay, I am so impressed by these. I can't wait to wear these all day today, and I'll update you. But overall, I'm very impressed with this formula. Beautiful colors, very easy to use. Like I said earlier, in between the Armani and the Makeup by Mario, they're definitely not quite as powdery and matte in the dry down as Makeup by Mario, but they are a little bit more matte, I would say, than the Armani. But great formula. I have no complaints with these so far. So I think e.l.f. did a great job with those. The Maybelline mascara I think is fine. My lashes are already like falling. Like I said though, I've kind of had that issue since I had a baby. My lashes just don't want to stay curled anymore. I'm not sure why. But the mascara does say it keeps a curl all day. I don't know about that. It's a nice mascara, but not anything earth-shattering. And then the lip products. Okay, one of these things is really burning. I think it's got to be this Plump and Fill or Instant Plump Serum. It's very pretty, but like my upper lip right here is burning. So it's either from this or it's from this NYX Duck Plump. I'm not sure. Maybe it's a combination of the two. This Revlon, I feel like this had a lot of potential, but I feel like they just missed it slightly. Like I feel like if it had just a little bit more pigment, a little bit more grip, this just has no grip. It just kind of barely applies. And then if you touch it at all, it's like completely gone. So I would probably skip that. This NYX liner, this is not really new, but that's okay. I'm not super impressed. This is nice. Pretty color in number 7, but it's stinging. So those are kind of my thoughts. I would say standouts are e.l.f. Concealer and Corrector, e.l.f. Cream Eyeshadows, and the Maybelline Cloudtopia Blush, and the e.l.f. Brow Pencil. Those are the things that stand out the most to me. Anyways, that is it for this video. I hope you enjoyed this. This was so much fun. It's been so long since we've done a full-on drugstore video. Like I said, I will try the rest of these products in another video coming up soon. Everything I used today will be linked in the description box and in YouTube shopping for you. If you do shop through my links, I do make a commission that supports my channel, so thank you so much for that. And if you're new, I would love for you to stick around and subscribe. And make sure to go follow me over on Instagram at simply.blair and TikTok simply.blair1. And that is everything for today. Thanks for being here. I will see you again very soon. Remember, simply be you. Bye.